Hello, everybody. This is Michelle Mras. Who are you?
And this is Dr. Smiley, and and I want to actually share this live for the first time. So this is a big deal for me. I'm sharing it as we go. Are you?
You're
Did you
seeing your whole
post it?
computer's moving because you're typing or something.
Well,
Well,
But the main thing is I'm sharing this live right now. This is the first time done. There you
really?
go. Yeah, this is
Welcome to
huge.
Amplifluence. This is Amplifluence, the podcast. And if you want to learn more about what Amplifluence is, go to amplifluence.com. That's amplify your influence, all in one word. Ken, what does Amplifluence, what do we do with Amplifluence?
Basically, don't you love it when people start with basically? Okay, so it is taking two words, amplify and influence, and through the magic of Todd Westra, creating a hybrid word called Amplifluence and a domain-friendly search on GoDaddy.
Yes, just remember to put the other L after the F, or you get Amplifluence and you never find the page. So
Yes,
what do we say with Amplifluence? It's the three pillars of monetization. You must speak your message, print your
legacy,
message,
yeah, and then
and
convert,
convert your message.
and not necessarily in any particular order. So if you convert your message, you should speak it and you should actually publish it. And if you publish it, you should speak it and convert it. So it doesn't matter which order.
Yes. And we concentrated on what authors, speakers, and just influencers in general, because as we said today, our title today is you have to learn how to craft that influence. And that's what Ken and I and Todd do together, is crafting that who you are, that persona, that worldly view that people get of you. And that
I
is the magic of
Yeah, I wish that we had Run DMC's song "Crafty." That would be great to interject right now.
oh, I was going to do Walk This Way, but that's not their song.
That's not the one that has to do with Crafty. So there you go. So let's go ahead and share some of the events that we have. We have a Sunday event in NYC.
Well,
Is that?
actually, first I wanted to ask you about an event that we spoke about last week. Ta-da! What happened at the
Oh
Children's
wow.
Author Launch? Because I saw some great pictures.
Yeah, we didn't have we didn't have the 50 authors we wished to have, but we decided that it was such a great event. We're going to continue until we hit that number, and then we're going to also invite all the authors. There were 14 authors at that event, and
Oh,
most of the authors there were multi-authors, and I'm talking 14 books, 12
really?
books. There's one author, Sherry Smith. She desires to get 50 books done in the next 2 years.
She's your kind of person.
I love those kind of people because they're committed to the campaign of legacy instead of just the bucket list of I did it.
Well,
That's
you
quite
always
a
talk about legacy. What do you mean about legacy?
well. I call a bucket list just to distinguish the two. Is I done did it, and when I leave, I can actually say on my list of life I did things. But legacy is more of a piece that lives beyond you, and hopefully is able to transcend and be shared and go viral many times, and you become the advocate of that message and the reason why other people are inspired. I think that is a decent way to concise it.
That's actually very well spoken. And someone out there in Facebook user land says, "Good morning."
That could be Prince Michael. You know,
I,
Prince Michael, we had accused whoever this Facebook user was that they needed to get an account, but Prince did write me later and say that was me. I don't know why it wasn't working. So just want to say thank you, Prince Michael, for all the
okay,
Facebook
if
users.
that is you, Prince Michael, thank you so much. Yeah, someone said good morning, but it just says Facebook user.
Well, he
But I thought
introduced you to Brenda, and you said you had the most phenomenal conversation with her. There was
I
3 days, if I recall.
Yeah, I need to write her, remind her to send me an email. She was going to send me an email of all of the events that she wants me to come to. Ooh, I forgot.
I was going to text you to remind you to text me later, but
Okay,
so we
you
just
text me to remind me to text you to remind me to email her. Okay. Okay. So the May 15th Children's Author Launch went great in Leesburg. You had 14 authors, but you're going to keep going because all it's going to do is keep growing. And that's the whole
3 more.
part of the, how many?
Yeah, 3 more events. 3 more events we're going to do, and it was Heart of Gold, and it was Sharon Brown and Heather Carlson Johnson, her daughter, and what a
Cool.
duo! that event wouldn't have existed without. And by the way, I have to say that we've done 2 events, one in DC earlier this year, and we're doing July 4th, but it's because of Hold My Crown. So thank you to you.
You're welcome. Well, the next thing coming up is here in Colorado Springs, May 19th. The Unconditional Conference is tomorrow in Colorado Springs. If you are in the
Michael,
area or can get to it, go to imunconditional.com. That's the letter I, the letter M, and unconditional.com. Get your tickets, and I'll see you there. I'm the MC, and then I'm speaking right after lunch.
and his
Sound good?
book just came. His book just came out, Unwind.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, I just got it in the mail. I think I left it at my studio. Otherwise, I'd have it here to show. And
Oh,
eager to read it. I guess I'll be reading a little bit of it while you guys are at the event. I'll read some tonight as well. And who else? Robert Peterson. Robert
Robert
Peterson
Peterson will
is
be there.
up. He is
He's there
speaking
for the
and
Keep Smiling movement.
yes, photographing and bringing more love to the world and showing the great people that are there.
So those of you out there who know me and would like to be in my Keep Smiling birthday book, which I do not have handy because I've already packed it because I'm ready to leave for Baltimore already, come out to the Unconditional Conference because Robert will be there to take pictures and you can hold the handy dandy Keep Smiling card. And then I can get
You
you in the
know,
book.
I would actually like to address that holding up the card just for a second. So when you hold the card up, it's actually that you're aligned with positivity. You're aligned with making a difference positively, influencing, inspiring.
There's a big
You know,
difference, right?
yes. I love it
And
when people, yeah, and also when people hold the card up and they cover the S and it's Keep Miling, and we're like, gosh, we're going to have to spend so much money to change our nonprofit to Keep Miling.
yeah, I have people do this.
I had a gorgeous supermodel hold it upside down, and she was like, "The card's upside down," and I'm like, "Okay, well, we'll Photoshop it in the correct way." But it's so funny. But yeah, Michael's got a great event tomorrow. We're excited because this is an example of someone having an idea and putting it out in the world and saying, I'm going to do it no matter what. And so that's actually the reason we went to Dallas and did one of the earlier Amplifluence. We had James Aquila and Matt Dawson say we would be the ones that host the event. So it just takes one person, I'll say crazy enough to believe that they're more powerful than they think they are, and then to prove it. So it actually works every time.
Well, it also helps to have a team around you that also believes in you and keeps it going. Because in every instance, someone does, oh, this is great. Wait a minute, this is a little harder than I thought. But that's what Amplifluence is there for. And so if you're interested in having us come to your town and help amplify you and the people around you with a mover and shaker of whatever town you're in, let us know. You go to the amplifluence.com page. There's a button that says come to my town. Click it and you can apply for us to come out to you, and we will help you make that event successful. And that's what we've been doing around the nation.
And behind the scenes of that team or the Amplifluence concept is potentially 10,000 to 30,000 hours of work that went into an infrastructure of relationships and momentum and knowledge and wisdom and all the epiphanies you would need to not do things the wrong way. So the one thing I want to say about Sharon Brown, who just had her event this past Sunday, is she was willing to take a chance and not make it about her. And when you do a book launch, you make it about you have a whopping 10, 20, 30, 40 people attend, and they all know you, and you didn't expand your reach. But when she brought 14 authors in, we actually had probably 3 times the amount of people that she would have never had at her event. And she made friends with the authors that say, I want to do this again. So it encourages a lot bigger reach and impact.
Well, just think that's what happened with us with the Hold My Crown. There are 20 authors, me included. So instead of it just being my people, it's the other 19 authors and their people. And then it just kind of multiplies and, domino effects from there. And that's why when I say Hold My Crown isn't a book, it's a movement. It's because there's a sequence of Hold My Crowns coming up in the future. And I love that idea you gave me this morning. So that will come later. That just dropped out of my head. But just there's magic in numbers. And that's why Amplifluence became what it is. We are amplifying your influence by amplifying the way you speak, amplifying the way you connect, amplifying to whom you connect with, and then making a database that helps you reach out past it. So that's what we do with Amplifluence.
And inside that comment you made is a mindset paradigm. So if you feel that there's not magic in numbers, you may be living in a scarcity mindset. For instance, if Heart of Gold had said, I don't want other authors there because they're going to steal the limelight off this being my book that is launched that day, that's a scarcity mindset. And if you look at magic numbers as abundance, what you're doing is all the people are working together to raise all the ships at the same time. So it's really a phenomenon that actually happens. I can't think of a time it hasn't happened that you don't have a synergistic, if as long as you have heart-driven people, that's, you have to have givers. You have to have people that actually believe in faith and hope that humanity is good and that contributing will make a difference. That is essential.
That is quite essential. And my problem, and that's why I only think that way. And so it always shocks me when someone doesn't think the way I do.
But that's not your
What?
problem. That's their problem.
That's true, but I always do. That's the only way I can think of it. So when someone says, "Oh, I really don't want to be part of that because I do," why not?
So actually, so finish that sentence that you don't want to be part of it, and give an example of why someone doesn't want to be part of something.
I've had someone say,
This is a show
"I don't
itself,
want
and
to." I had someone say, "I don't want to be a part of that because I don't know anybody anyways." And I
right.
said, exactly. That's what the Amplifluence is about, is we bring in other people that meet you, they like you, and then they tell their friends about you. It's a viral sneeze of who you are. If you don't know anyone, just invite the 2 people you know, and then all the rest of us will bring our people together. They become one big giant group mixing pot that talks about all of us together. So don't worry that your book isn't in the same genre or in the same line of things, or, oh, you're not in an anthology, whatever it is. It's all about coming together. Even if you don't have a book, come.
Right.
Because that's what I keep telling everyone, is one of the things I learned as an early speaker is I speak. They do, yeah, what are you an expert on? I do, oh, this, and this. They do, you have a book? No. Well, we're going to hire that person with the book because the book gave credibility. So if you're a speaker, you need a book. And if you have a book, that's the other thing. I had the book and everyone's like, oh, you have a book? Do you train on it? I said, I speak on it. They do, no, you should probably train on it. So if you're a speaker and you don't have a book, you need a book. If you have a book, then you must be able to train on it. And so when we have all these groups and someone says, I don't know anybody, I don't want to do this, I have a book. I do, well, then eventually you're going to be speaking and training on it. You need to meet the people in this room. Mm-hmm. And they do, oh, I do, this is not to detriment you. This is to grow you. This is only for your betterment and for the betterment of all of us. And they do, oh, well, that's what it is. I thought I had to bring 10 people because everyone else is bringing 10 to 20 people. And I do, no, bring who you know. And then we mix and then it grows. And that's what happened in DC when we went to, what is that steakhouse?
Shima's.
I always call it Shiba's.
That's okay.
That place was magical because people were meeting each other, and you brought a whole bunch of people that you met, and they mingled, and you amplified the event just by the extra people you brought in that none of the authors knew.
Well, and there's another that when you bring an influencer like Nancy Alert or Shirley Liu, they're not going to bring anybody yet. They have to come to the event to see it's valuable enough to put their name associated with it for the next running. So when we do the July 4th Independence Day, I know it's coming up soon, but as far as our announcement, but the point is those 2 people came to that event to vet the value. Yeah. And, you know, there's a comment, there's a story that's in A Chicken Soup for the Soul. I wish I could grab it easier in my mind, but it is that this kid is throwing starfish into the ocean. Yeah. And so this guy says, there's millions of starfish on the shore. Like, you think you're going to be able to save them all? He goes, no, I'll just save who I can. And he says, well, that doesn't make any difference compared to all of them there. He goes, it makes a difference this when he flings it, right? Well, think of that as how you change the game for an author or a person that goes to one of these events. Is that this isn't about you saving humanity. It's about you making a stand for somebody and causing them to be inspired. And I'm really having some pretty big like enlightenment about why people fail. And it's that they don't step out to serve others. And if I ask you, hey, how many authors do you know that you could bring to this event? And you say, I don't know, maybe one, you're probably having a proportional impact on yourself based on how many people you're impacting. Kind of cool,
Well,
right?
when you first met me and I said I wanted to do the book launch. You said, well, do a launch for this book and that book. I don't know enough people to do that. And you said, let's call it the 100 author tour. And I went, 100 authors? I don't know 100 authors. But then I put out a message on Facebook because I didn't know how many people I knew who actually had a book. And when I put out
Mm-hmm.
the message, hey, who has a book? It was like me. I have a book. Oh, I self-published book, but and me. There were book people everywhere that never said anything about having a book. They published it and then never said anything. So when we did that 100 author thing here in Colorado Springs, we did a mixer of authors. That's really what started Amplifluence, was your idea of let's have 100 authors together. Let's fill the room, see how big you can get it. And I think I got a good 30 something people in there, from me
Yeah.
saying I know one to 30 people in a room, and a jam-packed room. And it started a movement for you, me, and soon Todd, because of that. Holy smokes, we can truly blow each other up in another way, that these authors got to mix each other. Now they're friends, and now they help each other, and now they do things together. We started a community, well, on accident for me, but with you, full purpose. Yeah, it's amazing. Anyways.
You know what? I think the biggest move will be for Amplifluence. Like, it may not be next year, but I think it's going to be 2025. So it's just a little bit of a campaign of causing a book to actually be felt like it is truly a legacy. So most people, they address the success of their life based on how many children they have, and so that's their legacy, right? If they go, they have people, humans, leaders, influencers, future influencers in the world because they procreated. And when you actually create a book and you dismiss the book because it didn't make a difference, you're causing the book to be the stepchild that didn't exist. And I think in 2025, it's going to start showing up that families actually carry their books with them, or that families include the book as part of the legacy of who they are. It doesn't mean it's the only shot. It just means it's like at the event, we all held our book, and then we put our book in front of our face because the book is
That's who we
us.
are.
Yeah, it's who we are. And so I think
I got
that
a lot of books to hold. That's a lot. I can't do that.
well, I'm
Oh,
actually
Sally.
no,
It's
I'm
Sally who's the Facebook user who said hi. Hi,
she's
Sally. Where?
oh my gosh. Hi, Sally. And I do want to say Sally were the Facebook user who's been awakening the world with purpose. Her new
Yes.
book, yes, and she's going to be in DC for the Independence Day. And should we transition over to Independence Day soon?
What?
Independence Day launch? Are
Yeah,
we
but
going
we have
to
to
now?
talk about one more thing first.
Okay, let's do that one thing. Oh,
I'm going out to
yeah.
Baltimore, and then Ken's going to pick me up and bring me out to New York City for this event. But the New Day Associates with Janelle Harris, right?
Yes, and Janelle Harris, is doing all these really big things with her magazine. Her magazine just launched in New York. What a
She
crazy
exists. She
yes,
exists is her magazine, and I'm being featured next month. And so we're doing a launch in Orlando. No, Tampa, isn't it? We're doing a launch in Tampa for the magazine in July.
and you have new friends in Tampa now,
Yes, I
thanks to
do.
Pearl.
Yes.
So
So definitely that. And then now we can talk about the July 4th.
well, and we can also talk about that every single city that we name is a city we want to create a who's who that makes a positive difference in that city. And even though Keith Smiling's at the top, it's really about the leaders that influence that city, that cause the city to become community, that cause the city to just be proud, just be a proud example of what it is to have leaders, America, and living large, right?
Well, and the other thing about these Keep Smiling books that we take pictures for everywhere is Ken carries every book around with him from city to city. And so when we have this book of movers and shakers of each city, and if you sponsor it, you've got your name on it too on the front cover. when we bring it from city to city, we do, oh, you're going to Austin, or oh, you're going to Dallas. Well, here's a book of all the movers and shakers of Dallas. These are the people you need to know.
Mhm.
So these books aren't just books of pictures of people smiling with a card in their hand. Okay. It looks very simple, but what it's know, like, and trust. And we're moving that know, like, and trust from city to city with us. Now,
Oh, you're taking that
Ken and
too
I,
much.
what?
We're going from know, like, and trust to inspire and prove that you make a difference.
Exactly. So when you meet Ken and I, we are very friendly, open people, right? Now, when you see us with the books and we do, oh, these people, we met them, they're amazing. People do, you like them? They pick up the book and they do, I want this book. And I want to connect with the people in this book. So the book is more than just pictures of people smiling. The book is a know, like, trust, inspire, move the world book. These are the people that we know that belong, that need to come to your city. It basically we're basically sharing a gigantic Rolodex across the United States of the who to know in each city.
Well,
Does that
Michelle,
explain?
it did a great job, but I want to take it how special these people are a little bit higher. So
No,
the
please.
average,
I'm hoping you would.
the average person, not that they're average, but the average person at the event is the number one pick by someone at the event. So they know 200 people, they know 2,000, they know 20,000. They invite 2 or 3 people, and those are the people that come to the event that actually move the needle. They move the needle, they make the difference. They're the person that doesn't talk about doing things, they actually do them. They're the person that has the book, that has the track record, has the nonprofits, gives beyond what makes sense. Just is really a cool person to know. They're believers.
No, they're believers.
Yeah.
No, and I think this is Sally. I'm not sure.
It could be Prince Michael. Prince Michael and Sally were competing for that Facebook user comp.
So, anyways, really what I wanted to share with that is the importance of the keep smiling movement is more than a card. So many people do, oh, yeah, I took that picture with that card. It's not a card. It's a movement. It's a mentality. It's an attitude. It's shifting the world.
You know what I get
And
sad
that's
about?
what I find
Well,
so magic about it. What?
I get sad. I get sad sometimes when I see someone being dynamic all the time, like Janelle Harris, just to name drop someone that needs to step into their power, show their power a little more. We have 13 or 14 women empowerment books. We have 7 Black women influencer books. Okay, just to make that statement that if you have one dress and you only have one dress in your closet, I get that you'd say, why am I getting a new keep smiling shot? I have the same hair, the same look, and the same dress. I get it. But when you're dynamic, know that if we have 14 books to put you in or 20 books to put you in, etc., why wouldn't you want to look new and different and exciting and show your creative sides? And that's what I do. I mean, I actually had a photographer take 50 photos of me in different shirts so that I can start integrating them into different books.
Wait a minute. I've seen those pictures and you're doing the exact same pose and you have all the same. I thought you had photoshopped a different
I did
shirt
not.
on you
That
because
was
your face does not change. Nothing changes. It's just the shirt changes. You could have just photoshopped it on.
I could have. You know what? I'm going to get some training from you, and we're going to get
Oh,
different.
MK's on. Hi, MK. Perfectly imperfect.
So
Sorry.
we will go ahead and redo that shoot with all those shirts. And by the way, Men Fashion is been contacted for some new updated shirts. So I'm excited about that.
Good. You need spring shirts.
I do. Not
And
just these
I'm going
golf.
to name drop again. Ann Taylor, if you need me to wear clothes at any event, you just let me know. I would love for you to be my clothes sponsor. Or a boutique that has clothes like Ann Taylor. I love Ann Taylor. Anyways.
God
I'm
bless.
just excited about all the things that we're building because this first year, I mean, I only met Ken in July. We didn't really start talking until September, October, November-ish when I decided September, because that's when I wanted to publish my book. So that's when we really, really started talking. All of this
And one
other,
minute
all the other things. What?
1 month later. Like when you talked to me 1 month later, we had a book. It was pretty crazy. Very fast
It,
paced.
it was amazing. But ever since then, and when Ken saw that I'm a mover and shaker of my in my own right, when he said, do 100 author thing, make it happen, and I just did it. He didn't give me guidance. He did. I never asked. I didn't think I could, so I just did it. And when he came into Colorado Springs, he's like, "Wow, this is really cool. We need to repeat this." I do. Well, I did what you told me to do. He is. I just told you to put people in a room. You did the rest of it. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize what I had done. And so now Ken and I are traveling across the United States, and we've combined my energy of getting people together and revving up a crowd, the communication part of what we were supposed to talk about today, and Ken's ability to capture energy in a frame. I mean, so we've moved that keep smiling movement with what we do with Amplifluence because they mesh very well together. The people who are movers and shakers are also very instrumental in the keep smiling movement. They are the dose of hope kind of people. And if you haven't heard of the Dose of Hope book, the Keep Smiling Dose of Hope, Ken, can you explain that? Because
Well,
I
you have to
love this.
flip it so people see 800 pages too. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Flip it so it shows 800 pages. There's what 100 looks like. There we go. There's 800. Boom. See how you're looking? Pretty cool, huh?
And it's crazy. When I got
So
it in the
it
mail,
is,
I thought it was a mistake. I'm like, this is a really big book.
and
Yeah.
that's only part 1 of 4. There's 4 parts now. So Dose of Hope is technically and most accurately described as a TED Talk, like Simon Sinek's Why, except it expands that the who that you are is really the engine for you creating a person you love that allows you to actually create a purpose that keeps you going, that creates an impact in the world. So the variables of who, why, and how are completely proportional. So in other words, if you put no energy into who you are, you probably will not have a great purpose and you probably will not have a great impact. So during the pandemic, I know that I put a lot of energy into my fatherhood experience with my son. And the next thing I know, my son's got 6 or 7 books. My who as a father became so great that my purpose as a father caused him to have an impact as a son. And so these variables all jump dramatically. So I haven't found any exception to this rule that the more you work on who you are, meaning you're unstoppable, tenacious, you will not stop, allow challenges or failures to stop you from being who you want to be. That is the magic time when you can actually ask God or whatever you believe, why am I here? What should I be doing with my life? And that is your purpose. And if it's aligned with something that you believe to your heart's content, you will have an impact. And that is what the Dose of Hope is about. Because the readers that we're giving it to are people that may have lost hope. They may be depressed, they may be considering suicide. And our philosophy is if someone that had nothing can become everything, then anybody that doesn't have hope could too.
Speaking of that, Mary Kay, if you're still on, I need to send you the template for the Dose of Hope. Mary Kay is the one who painted this lioness behind me. And her story is phenomenal. And I would love to get her into the Dose of Hope and amplify her story as she's just a remarkable woman.
And Sally Wurr, who's one of our Facebook users here, she's got her story in there. And the thing that's so cool about this, instead of meeting someone, you actually get to know what they stand for, that they
Well, and
are.
that's so beautiful about it. And that's why when you told me what you're doing, I'm like, this is beautiful. You don't just know, like, and trust. I can just say, you told me about this, so-and-so person, and flip in the book, find them, read a core story of what made them who they are, basically, find out some trivia about them. And it's almost like you know them already.
Mhm.
Like they're your friends you just haven't met yet. I love this. I love your Dose of Hope. And I love the Keep Smiling movement. And thank you
And
for.
just because we don't charge for it and we say it's worth $36,000, it's valued at that because you can get out to 10 million people with your story because of all the people sharing the book. And the reason we don't charge for it is not
Sharing the
because
book PDF.
PDF, yes,
Because
electronic.
everything's hyperlinked because it's very hard to find things in this gigantic book. It's hyperlinked. It's a digital share.
Yeah, so if you see Sally Wurr in the TOC table of contents, you just click her name and it goes right to her chapter. So But the reason we don't sell it is actually pretty unique. When you sell something, you have to have someone buy into it financially. And when you actually qualify people and invite people because they are the person you want in the book, you're doing it the way that the book can actually have the integrity of what the cover says, which is dose of hope. So what we do is we reward people who are inspiring instead of charging them.
I love it. I love it. Sorry.
Oh,
This is my favorite book. You do know that, right?
well,
This is
Robert Peterson uses that book to get most of his guests at this point on his podcast. His podcast is Add Value to Life. And he has a compilation book just like Rabbi Michael. And his is the entrepreneurial mindset and how you can share your inspiring story as an entrepreneur. And both those people acknowledged you as the reason they want to do a compilation book. Hold My Crown. Hold My Crown has had 4 people that I know of that said they want to do a compilation book because of how you create a community with that book. That
well,
defies the odds of what compilation books normally do.
I know. Well, but you have to remember, one, I have a brain injury. So I don't look back at what other people do and say, I'm going to do it like them because I don't remember what anyone else has done. So when this idea came to my head, I made it up as I went because my brain doesn't remember that kind of stuff. I don't compare, so I couldn't remember it. So when I said I wanted to put a whole bunch of stories together, you said, great. It's an anthology book. I went, okay, whatever that is. All my idea was I want to bring stories together because I want to amplify the people in that book to bring their stories more into the world because they were playing smaller than I thought they should. And that's really it. If you were too afraid to go out on your own, then let's come together and we'll go together and we'll go big together, big and loud. And everyone were like, yeah, you're right, Michelle, this is great. But now they're all brave enough to go do their own.
Well, because it was a catalyst. It was a catalyst instead of an expense.
Yes. And so, and my whole thing is we'll just keep growing together. Go ahead, keep making your own books, bring more people. What we're doing is we'll build a community of movers and shakers and world changers and smilers from just sharing our stories that we thought were painful and handicapping us, but they're actually catapulting us to help other people change the world too. Okay,
Well,
enough of my high horse, right?
well, no, that was well said, beautiful, but we do need to get to this Independence Day business here. Boom. So this is thanks to Tony Barnett. He's choreographing all his relationships into a really beautiful 4 to 5 event piece, which is Barnes and Noble, I believe, Northern Virginia. That evening, a social mover and shaker event, and then the next day we are going to Landmarks in DC, show off your book, show off the group of authors that are making a difference, working in this community. That night, a nice fireworks show, and the following day, Shima's, the steakhouse, the one place that we did at the best level at the last event that we decided to bring into this event as well. So
yes,
very excited about it. Today's show, we didn't really announce the theme. Normally we announce the theme early on. This theme, I think, is C, isn't it? C. So
it is.
And by the way, C, because I used the wrong hand. So C for communication, collaboration, and cookie. But Barry Shore says in order to have impact with communication and collaboration, letter C, you need to be clear, concise, and compelling. If your comments that you write, whether it be copy on the back of your book or a pitch or anything, is clear, concise, and compelling, you will have the highest, are you ready for this next C word? Conversion towards likability, buyability, and purchasability. How about that?
I'm trying to type as fast as I can.
Well, think how I feel. I'm over here watching you type, and I'm like, gosh, is she typing like crazy or what? So, folks,
there, clear, concise, and compelling equals conversion.
Well, higher conversion. I don't know if it equals conversion specifically, but it equals higher conversion. So if you're not using those variables at the highest level, your conversion is probably dampered, sabotaged, or just not consistently great. So there you go. Good job. You did very well. I'm glad I don't have to do that stuff. That is beautiful. So thanks to Barry Shore. And he is actually republishing his books through Perfect Publishing. He has 2 books. He has an acronym pocketbook. So all these acronyms like hope, hold
Oh, he's
on,
got a
believe.
bazillion acronyms.
I know. Well, no more than a bazillion. It's actually a quadrazillion.
Okay, you're going to have to make it digital because the book's going to be like that.
Well, he is doing it. So if it's in a pocket, and we will probably expand it digitally. But the pocketbook allows you to look up love, hope, faith, all these lovely things, and you get to see how they actually register why that word actually is a word that makes a difference in the world. Kind of
Okay.
cool. You know,
So we hope
smiles.
you all join us July 3rd through 5 at Independence Day book launch in DC. You can just go to Facebook and actually look up on Facebook DC multi-author launch, and it will pop up, or go to my page and you'll see it, or join the Amplifluence Facebook.
Or go to my page, listen to the show again, go to roughly this portion of the show, hear it, and then do what you just said. So there's also that.
So today's theme is collaboration, communication, because the last 2 times we went A, which was abundance, B, which was, you said, benevolence.
Benevolence, yes, that was a good one. Yeah, we did a couple other B's, but that was the biggie. That was a big word. I mean, most people can't even pronounce it. So that was a biggie.
I couldn't spell it, so I did not write it up on anything. And then C is today is communication and collaboration. And the whole thing about collaboration and communication, we've been talking about collaboration for the entire show pretty much, about how Amplifluence amplifies your influence by creating a very specific and strategic collaborations, really. And then the communication is key. Communication and collaboration are key to success, because without clear, concise, and compelling communication, you don't have the higher conversion. And we're creating it all together.
And you work harder then. So if you're not clear, people ask more questions. If you're not concise, people get bored. And if you're not compelling, people are really bored. So when you engage people, you're actually causing them to focus. And when they focus and they hear the clarity of your message, they receive it. Questions go way down and actions go way up. So this is all really simple stuff, but it's complex in that most people don't do it.
Yes. Well, I'm so glad we had this time together.
I wish I could say something that actually mimics that, but that was very good, Carol Burnett.
Just to have a laugh or sing a song. I've been watching a lot of Carol Burnett lately. Anyways, we had a nice discussion today, Ken. Dr.
We did,
Schmiller.
and you know, I feel like we were so busy in our first couple of episodes, we never actually analyzed the word busy and how it sabotages people. And this is just a teaser that we may have to go back to B in a very soon show. Like when we go to letter I and we go, man, there's not so much to talk about at I. We got igloo and we're done. So let's go to B because we're not too busy to talk about B. So I want to just put a little seed for a show where you're busy and I'm busy, but yet we still were able to fit in a show. And it's because the value of the show superseded how busy we are. But busy people get things done. And busy people that use busy in a positive way continue to flourish. People that use be busy in a bad way miss all these opportunities because they're so in chaos of being busy and broke. So I just want to say that is the most interesting convoluted word I'm adding to my Epiphanies book that I would like to live interject. We need to do a show on busy because people that are busy are usually missing the boat of having fun in life and being abundant.
I was thinking, will we be together for our next show? Or no, we won't.
We won't.
No, because I'm having a whirlwind tour through Baltimore, then New York, and then I'm right back on an airplane and right back again by Monday night. Okay, never mind. I was like, we can do the show together.
But we will not be too busy to do a show. We just will possibly not be at the same place.
Yeah, we won't be in the same place long enough. Yeah, not that I can think of.
Do you know that I just thought of something? If someone hacks somebody and comes in as a Facebook user, we're not going to know who that person is either. I just realized that.
No. They have to give us hints like Mary Kay when she wrote Perfectly Imperfect.
That was very good.
It's like I knew exactly who it was because of that, because I don't share that with very many people, because we are definitely perfectly imperfect. We got to embrace that.
Yes. Well, thank you for another wonderful show. I mean, it's really gelling.
It is. It's very comfy too. Okay, so don't forget to pick me up to get me to New York on Sunday morning or whatever, because it's an early train ride on Amtrak, and I'm terrified to go to New York on Sunday. So don't forget me.
Well,
I'm
actually,
pretty
I thought
sure.
you were terrified on Wednesdays too to go to New York. So it's not just Sundays. Huh? You said you were
Huh?
terrified to go to New York on Sunday. And I was like, what does Sunday have to do with it?
I'm going to New York on Sunday, and I'm
You
afraid
said
to
you were
go.
terrified. Okay, but I
I'm
thought you were
terrified. No, I'm terrified to take the subway is what I'm afraid of. I asked my travel agent, can you just fly me into New York? She says, well, to get where you're going to get, you're going to have to take the subway anyways. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, it's not a straight shoot. Kennedy does not work well with Southwest is the first problem. And you got these other airports that are not anywhere close to where we need to be. So Subway is where it is. And by the way, the Subway is cool. I got to say, it was actually pretty easy to use. It was
Okay.
actually.
Just don't, make sure I get there so
Bring
I
your
don't
mask.
get lost.
Bring your mask. They
Oh,
require in the subways.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So it has been another wonderful conversation and week in the conversation of Amplifluence and building influence in your life. And we hope that you will share the show, but more importantly, share the messages so that we can have a community of Amplifluence people come to these different cities and connect and meet.
True that.
True that.
And yes,
That's a D.
or as Sally says, true. Busy people get things done.
Thank you, Sally.
Yes. So thank you so much for joining us. And remember, amplify your influence. Go find us on amplifluence.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel, because it's Amplifluence. It's the same thing. Oh, no, it's not. I think you
What?
can look. Well, no, because we need 100 subscribers in order for me to change the
got
name to Amplifluence. Dang
Yeah.
it. Well, you'll
More
have to search.
Facebook users need to go over there. More Facebook users need
Yeah,
to go
more
over there.
Facebook users. So please share the live stream. And Ken, what was the crafty thing you always say at the end of our shows?
Well, I don't know. But if you know somebody who's influencing the world in an inspiring way, please connect them to us, because we'd like to publish their dose of hope. I do know I say that one.
But you had a nice, concise thing.
How about stay amplified? Because
That's it.
There we go.
It was the Stay Amplified. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, next week.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.